Thank you for coming to watch the EV Universe video on the Kia EV9 by Tom Volk. If you're interested in a Kia EV9 for sale or any parts and accessories for your new Kia EV9, come to evuniverse.com. EV Universe is your one-stop shop for all things related to the electric vehicle. Enjoy.
If you want to go all electric but need 3 rows of seating, Kia now has you covered. I'm Tom Volk for EV Universe, and this is the all-new EV9. Much more futuristic looking than Kia's wildly popular Telluride, it's built on the impressive E-GMP architecture found underneath EV6 and Hyundai Ioniq 5. There's significant new tech happening in here though. Clearly, Kia is not resting on its laurels.
We surpassed our previous annual sales record in less than 11 months.
At a press event held in California's Napa region, I spent a day with the EV9, front-loading my impressions. This will be 2024's IT car, the vehicle that many will want, the one that Kia can't make enough of. With 3 rows of seating, this is effectively an electrified Telluride, and the two are essentially the same size, so this will fit in your garage. But will it fit in your budget? A base EV9 with rear drive and the smaller battery pack starts at $56,400. The larger battery goes for $4,300. This is the GT-Line. It's definitely more expensive. The top trim model, this is strictly a 6-seater with dual-motor all-wheel drive power. Starting at $75,400, this fully loaded rig, painted in optional ocean blue gloss, retails for $78,430. The main option here is the $2,000 second-row relaxation package with powered chairs and leg rest. For now, EV9 occupies a white space in the market. There's no real mainstream brand competitor.
The EV9 is the only 3-row EV SUV in the US with 800-volt architecture. I talked about the segments aiming above. There's a Rivian R1S, there's the Audi Q8 e-tron, and the BMW iX. Of those, only the R1S and the Model X have a standard 3rd row.
Good-looking materials seem to be durable. EV9 is a leather-free zone. These heated and vented seats with a mild massage action are upholstered with the synthetic stuff. I found them to be quite supportive and comfortable. And while I'm not a fan of this kind of complexity, these improve aerodynamics. Also, active grille shutters.
Despite being a very upright SUV by intent, the drag coefficient is 0.28. In terms of size, it's longer, wider, and taller than the competitors listed, including the e-tron, the iX, the Lyriq, and of course the Model Y.
Open wide. The unusual broad swing helps when loading people in car seats. Lower trims are available with a bench. Kia says it's studying the option for the higher models. The way back stops at belts for 2. Apparently, Kia's engineers base their decisions in reality. Let's talk power. Rear-drive EV9 models are dubbed light. The smaller 76.1 kilowatt-hour lithium-ion battery is rated at 230 miles of range and moves the brood with 215 horsepower and 258 pound-feet of torque. The optional 99.8 pack offers 304 miles of EPA-rated range, but 14 less horsepower to move a heavier vehicle. Torque remains the same. The GT-Line gets the big battery, a standard towing package, a self-leveling rear suspension, and the most standard power out of its dual-motor all-wheel drive system, 379 horses and 516 pound-feet. Slightly less potent wind and land models are available with an optional boost mode for $900 that make them a tick quicker. What do you think, frunk or no frunk? Yeah, okay, well, I would say half a frunk. And here's the vehicle-to-load adapter. Owners might get used to it. I find the ignition placement awkward. The 12.3-inch display is crisp and clean, even in bright sunlight, no need for a hood. Like most EVs, this has a single-speed transmission, and I'll note the engineers say the motors get refinements compared to EV6. Drive modes? You bet. They adjust throttle response and steering weight, but not dampers. Look close and you'll see the anticipated range update itself. There's a four-wheel drive like lock mode too. This pedal backs regeneration drag off. The left one adds it for one-pedal driving fans. Range and efficiency are spelled out clearly. EV9 offers charging route guidance when a destination is set in the Navi system. It can even precondition the pack. The 800-volt E-GMP architecture charges quickly, 10 to 80% in 24 minutes using a 350-kilowatt DC fast charger in ideal temperatures, or just under 9 hours using home level 2. The dual-motor GT-Line is pretty darn quick. It'll spool up to 60 miles an hour in about 5 seconds flat, which should give the kids a thrill. Hopefully they keep their Lunchables down. Electric vehicles tend to be heavy, and in all-wheel drive trim, the EV9 weighs an average of 5,700 pounds, so it is hefty, but it is powerful. This thing can really move. And acceleration from 50 to 70 is strong. No white knuckles when passing on two-lane roads. However, the long-range rear-drive light model is considerably slower, nearly 9 seconds to 60 miles an hour. Like Telluride and many other three-row SUV crossovers, the ride height is elevated, but not overly so. The dampers on the EV9 are not adjustable, they're fixed, and I'm happy that Kia has sent us on some rougher roads. Gotta say, the suspension is very, very comfortable, but it's never sloppy. Body roll, nicely controlled. The front suspension is sourced off the high-performance EV6 GT and similar to the setup on BMW's E39 5 Series. EV9's heft is felt, but the driving dynamic is a pleasant surprise. The steering effort is well-weighted. There's even some road feel. Talk to any automotive engineer and they'll tell you that it's tough to keep an SUV quiet because it's like a big drum inside. But the EV9 is very hushed, lots of acoustical glass. A big surprise, it doesn't use active noise cancellation. A cabin performance tone can be called up. I turned it off. Kia's improved ADAS technology that includes automatic emergency braking, adaptive cruise, and lane keeping is quite good. Dial regeneration drag to its most aggressive, and EV9 will coast down quickly to a full stop. No need to use the pedal. Those that enjoy one-pedal driving will like this. All right, let's talk about range. The GT-Line is the least efficient of the EV9s. It's rated at 270 miles. Temperatures are in the mid-50s. I've been doing mostly highway driving, and I'm seeing about 260 miles as an estimate. That's really good. It's only 10 miles off its rated range. Again, this is an estimate, hoping to get one soon for a proper test. Moving inside, there's a premium vibe coming from the plastics and fabrics. There are some recycled materials, like used fishnets in the carpets. Notice the slight squircle shape of the heated wheel? The haptic controls reveal themselves on startup. By packaging most components under the hood, the engineers carved out a large space for purses and backpacks, an advantage on a daily basis. Quibbles? Well, the door pockets are pretty small, storage in the center console is shallow, and the section up front can be used for stowing stuff, but most will put their frappuccinos here. When it comes to tech, this is the first Kia to offer full vehicle over-the-air updates. There's a digital rear-view mirror, advanced self-parking, an excellent bird's-eye camera view system that the kids will want to play with, I know I do, and there's this blind spot camera system that I've always found very helpful. A fingerprint sensor helps to access driver presets, plus there's updated digital key.
This will be available through iPhones, Apple, Samsung and Google phones. And more so, you can also share the keys by simply attaching the key and sending it via text. And finally, with EV9, we'll also be introducing wireless Android Auto CarPlay to our navigation system.
Which brings me to the dual 12.3-inch screens. Similar to what's found in EV6, it's been updated. I didn't get enough time with it to offer an educated opinion, but touch response is good. A quick glance around the cabin shows that buttons are at a premium. Friends and family will enjoy the passenger space with a separate climate zone. Again, a bench is available in the small battery light model and the wind version. The dual panel sunroof brightens the cabin. Even without the $2,000 comfort package, GT-Line's mid-row chairs are heated and vented. There's a big storage bin that'll take on the largest tablets and regular laptop computers, good to hide those away. The front passenger seat can be adjusted by people sitting behind. The floor is board flat. The sun can be shaded away. There are useful pockets and cup holders. Just like the front, these are small. Getting to the way back requires some waiting. It's why skipping the motorized comfort package seats might be high on some buyers' lists, especially if the very back gets used a lot. It's not much of a hike up, but getting my size 11s through is kinda tight. Row 3, not too shabby. I'm 5'9", and I've got a good amount of headroom. There's a little bit more in EV9 than Telluride. Plus, the cushions are a little bit higher, so there's actually a little bit of thigh support. Knee and leg room, of course, not so great. This is a 3-row crossover, but my feet go underneath the chair, the other one down the middle, so that's okay. There are cup holders, there are USB ports, so nobody goes without. No pockets on the seat backs, but, I don't expect that. Honestly, the third row is not a penalty box, it's actually usable. Tailgaters and campers will love this cargo area outlet. This will run a fridge or coffee maker. Like many vehicles these days, no spare tire, only a repair kit. All seats occupied, there's a solid 20 cubic feet of cargo space. It's easy for anyone to reach in and drop the backs. Now you're looking at just over 43 cubic feet. And there's no need to walk around to the back doors to drop row 2. They're motorized, both down and up. How civilized, if not very fast. This ends up with a fairly flat load floor and nearly 82 cubes to fill. That's about 5 less than Telluride, if you're wondering. An interesting fun fact when it comes to the third row.
Through our research, talking to consumers, we've heard from parents of those with preteens and teenagers that can you make the third row roomier? Can you make it more hospitable? And we kept hearing it again and again, and so I finally started asking why so much attention to the third row, and they said, when my kids get in, they don't want to sit in the second row. They go straight to the third because they don't want to be around us.
Right out of the gate, EV9 has won dozens of awards, including a number of Car of the Year titles. More evidence that the brand wasn't just lucky with Telluride. Supply will be limited until the factory in West Point, Georgia starts assembly in late 2024. Check with your local Kia dealership to see if they have one in stock for a test drive. For now, it's in a class by itself. For EV Universe, I'm Tom Volk.